Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. So, we were going to work on animation today, and I think that's kind of an interesting topic. And so far, my Friday is doing well. Brent, my good man, it's doing well. You'll see behind me, I have a different interface going on today. Ooh. So I was going to play with Character Animator a little bit today, but I thought if I started with Character Animator, there'd be some like things that we might want to like practice first. So behind me, I have good old After Effects. Now, After Effects is my tool of choice when it comes to hand animation. Just doing the literal frame by frame, just going one frame at a time sort of animation. So I was thinking I would use After Effects today and we could work on animation and do that. And it'd be kind of fun. That's my thought process for the day. However, there are two things I'll go ahead and start with. One, After Effects is sometimes buggy. So we may have a complete meltdown. But what's a show without a little risk, right? Anyway, so we've got a lot of things on my poor computer running at the same time right now. We've got After Effects going here, we got music playing over here, and we've got a broadcast going out this way. So we're going to talk animation today. The first thing that we want to do is consider what we're animating, right? So I was thinking, just take a ball, right? You throw the ball up in the air and you catch the ball. This ball blinks. This is why I like this ball, because it blinks. There's lights. Lights are involved. You know me? I am a sucker for lights. Anyway, so you want to just take this ball, throw it up in the air, and catch it, right? Think about that loop. And you just like, as an animator, we have to think about these loops. Now, a lot of people will shoot the video and just film the ball going up and coming back down. But we're not going to do that today. This is totally guerrilla. Because I can't ask my computer to do yet another thing. So this is all going to be guerrilla. So let's see. We throw it up in the air, and that takes about 1 second, we're going to say. Okay? 1 second. For 1 second of animation, depending on whether you're Studio Ghibli or whether you're Tom and Jerry, 1 second of animation is usually 24 frames. This was completely arbitrarily picked by just how fast cinemas were running in the 30s. That is absolutely the only reason why it's 24 frames. The human eye, anything past 15 frames, the human eye sees as motion, relatively smooth motion. Anything lower than 15 frames, and the human eye starts to get buggy about that. We can't perceive past about 60 frames. Now, of course, every human is completely different. So, some of us can see 70 frames. Some of us can't even see past 30. So it's one of those things. It's one of my stupid human tricks is that I actually have one of the higher frame rates in processing. So I can see when they add goofy crap in animation, and they always do. You always find something hidden in the animation, especially anime. Anime loves to do that. One of my favorite stories that comes from this is that I was watching Macross Oboete Masuka, which is Do You Remember Love? The movie. Macross the movie. And there's a scene where the airplane flies in to attack the bad guys, and he fires all of these missiles, and the missiles just... And I looked and I said, one of those missiles was actually a beer can. And it was like, huh? So we backed it up and frame by frame, and sure enough, one of the missiles flies right by the camera, and it's only two frames long, but this frame and this frame, you can clearly read it says Budweiser on the side of it. It was very funny. I was very entertained. So that's one of my stupid human tricks, and one of the reasons why I went into animation. It's because I was like, I'll play to my strengths. Turns out I actually really love animation. I love making something work. Something from nothing. So, I was just sketching last night, and I don't know. It's what I get for not... I'll save this, though. I don't know where. Because we'll get out of this one. Okay. Sketch. Work. Save it. Now, let's actually not. Let's not do that. Let's just close this. We'll start a new file. And this one we'll do in video, right? So we'll do 1920 by 1080. Wish it wouldn't put artboards out, but that's okay. The good news is this already puts in safes. I love when things are put in with safes. So let's go on ahead and do the share screen. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. Now these lines over here, these lines over here, right here and right here, those are what we call title safes. In television, we don't want to put any text past these safe lines. Originally, it was mostly because televisions back in the day were kind of shaped like this. Ooh, gotta love the snap, right? But they were rounded at the edges. So, actually, I'm going to draw it again. Originally, our televisions were rounded, right? The screens did this. And so, we didn't want to put, like this, because all you'd see is Lello there, and it wouldn't have the exclamation point or whatever. So originally we invented these title safes, which told you don't go past that, right? Well, now our monitors go all the way to both sides, and this isn't as big of a deal, but we still follow the convention because it gives us a good centering point. Right? So this tells us a little bit more of our centering, where we want to center our artwork. We definitely don't want to start over here, or put things out there, because that makes the viewer's eyes have to go all the way over here and hang out. And that's rough. So, here's what we're going to do on this one. We're going to first draw our first frame. Now, I'm going to do what we call onion skinning, and this is actually where this technique comes from. I'm going to add another layer. I call this layer onion skin, right? I'll take this and do this. And then I give this guy 25% opacity. Okay? The onion skin lives here. This is 1. If you think about it, we're only going to do 1 second of animation here, so we're going to do 24 pictures. And so this isn't going to be that big of a deal. It's going to take us probably the most part of this hour, but that's okay. So we're going to start with a ball. We're going to start with white, apparently. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start with a ball. Okay? Hey, Guy, can you draw a perfect circle? No, apparently I can't. Can you draw a circle without being screwy with it? No, apparently I can't. There we go. A ball. We'll make it a tennis ball. Okay? Now, the normal animation technique would be to move your onion skin up. Man, my onion skin's way too light. Anyway, let's try this. Move your onion skin up. Make a new layer. Call it O2. Right? And then we just advance our ball, right? Like that. Hello, Fred. Or should I say, hello? Fred has his caps lock going the wrong direction. Today is Animation Friday, Fred. We're learning about animation. Now, normally, I would say we want to kind of look at the arc of this, right? So let's talk a little bit about the arc. The ball is going to go up, right, and then down. Maybe not into the safes, because obviously the safes are going to make life miserable. Up, and then down. When you deal with animation, this is a keyframe, this is a keyframe, and this is a keyframe. Everything in between is an arc, right? So rather than put our ball here on 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it. We're going to talk about our keyframes. The important thing here is that we want to make this arc happen in... Yeah. Oh, I certainly can. But, and in fact, most animators would just copy and paste it. But if you copy and paste an animation, like take frame 1 here and just paste it into frame 2, it looks like those animated GIFs where an object just moves up and down. So if you want it to give it personality and you want it to actually look like a real thing, we want to do it hand-drawn in each frame. So, looking then at our arc, and this is our frames, right? We look at our arc, and what we're going to end up with is lots of speed here, slows down, and then speeds back up, and then maybe we want it to squish down here, right? So what we're going to want is a cluster of frames up here, and then they're spread out. So maybe 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can rotate it, but it still looks the same. I'll show you. I'll show you what we're talking about. We'll do both today. I think we got enough time to do both. So I'll do both for you so I can show you the difference. In fact, we'll start with that so that I can show you what we're talking about and show you the animation and the function of the animation. And then you can see how it's faster, but not as aesthetically pleasant. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got half of a second of animation here if we do 15 frames, and we've got more than that we've got about a little bit more than that. So let's do the other side. So here, 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 and then we'll squish it down here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. These notes just tell me that I'm going to be here at this frame for five total frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, if we're going to go 24 frames, we've got a few more to go. We got 6 more frames to put in, right? So now we double in. Right? I'm going to put another frame here, another frame here, another frame here, another frame there. That's 4 more, right? And then I could put another squishy frame there, right? So that's 5 more. So all I need to do is 1 more up here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to double up this guy right here. Right there and right there. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now we have 1 second's worth of animation. And you can see that arc. We've got 1, and I'll do what we're talking about with Fred. I'll move you to position 2, and we'll rotate him like that. And then we'll go to position 3, and we'll rotate it like that. And then we'll go to position 4. It doesn't want to line up. We're right on the center line of this, so Photoshop is trying to help. Like that. We'll go to position 5. Like this. Position 6. And we are definitely slowing down as we reach the top of this arc. I actually wish that this was half that distance. So I'm going to do that and then move it. Animation instincts are telling me that we are not moving quite as much as I would like us to in between these 2 keys. So, and these are actually tweens, they're not keys. Move up to here. All right. Move up to here. My safes aren't helping me, so I'm going to clear those guides. Okay, all they're doing is making this difficult. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're on the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got 3 of them up here, which is going to be, this is difficult. So, 1, 2, 3. Noticing the thing about animation is you count a lot. No. And then 4. And then we'll start the parabola down. 5. Right? And then move up. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. I like some of the new features of Photoshop 10 is used to you had to always check in here, but now if I just duplicate it, it sets it. All right. We are almost at the ground here. Here's the ground. And it's going to be nice because it's going to hit almost exactly vertically. Right? So this is where we're going to establish the ground. And now that I've done this, I know where I'm looking for the ground. So right here, I'll put in the ground line. That'll indicate that there's a ground here. Right? And there's a reason for that. When it comes to animation, it is like super vital. Am I actually on the right speaker over here? Just making sure. Yeah, see, it didn't seem like it was actually connected to my microphone again. Oh, well, that's fine. When it comes to animation, it's super important that you number your frames, because we've got 20 frames now. So there's one too many frames up here somewhere. Right? So it's also super important that all of your layers are all correctly identified. Otherwise, things get hairy and unpleasant in a big hurry. So we're at 20 frames. We've hit the ground. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to then do this one, right? And we're just going to take him and squish him, right? Which is this guy. There you go. And we'll go here. We'll do the same thing. We're squishing him. 22. Ooh. And then 24. There we go. Yeah. This becomes ugly if you screw up your layers. Okay, so 02. Now we number our layers. Some things are not glamorous in animation. No, it's your head. It's your head. Man, there's a callback from 100 years ago. Alrighty. And we are, sometimes you have to double click it to just select all of it, and sometimes you have to double click it to Good morning, Tanya. We're doing animation today. Like the principles of animation at this point in time. Super boring stuff, but fascinating in its own way. Okay, so now that we've got all 24 of our frames, what we do now is you go to our ground, make sure that that's there so we can see the ground, yada, yada, yada. Okay. I know, right? So we were going to talk about Character Animator today, but I was supposed to look up like how to do Character Animator last night and didn't. So I'm going to work with After Effects. So there's that. We're going to save this guy to my desktop. I'm actually going to call it, I don't know, where am I going to stick it? I'll probably put it out on reference. No, I'm going to put it in Guy the Artist. Maybe just here. Like, no, it does not. Call it Animation Friday 01. There we go. It does not. What it is this is all about this guy here, After Effects. So welcome to After Effects, folks. So we now have, what we have here is we've got just a basic After Effects load up screen, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first things first, check my composition settings. I'm going to start a new composition. Okay. Where did it hide it somewhere? It hid it somewhere, didn't it? There we are. Underneath that, I can't find this because of this. Okay. Ball Animation 1. Right? Now we set our ball animation for 1080. No, it's 1920. 1920 by 1080. Aspect ratio just to make sure that we've got it correct. Frame rate, we're going to go 24 because it's animation. Yeah, whatever. When I go in here and look at all of these things, make sure everything's correct, I don't need to worry about my 3D renderer. This is a 2D animation. So, yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah, my college days, too. This is where this is all from. So, I'm setting my composition for ball animation 1, right? It's going to be 24 frames a second. We're all good here. Okay. Work, work, work. Here comes the whole thing. Now, I want to go into the composition settings. And it's not composition settings. It is something. Import settings, maybe. Might be import settings. Preferences. And we've got to do this one setting correctly, otherwise this is just going to take forever. Import. Where did it go? It's like open. There we are. Import. There we go. So, still footage comes in as length of composition. We actually really don't want to do that. We want this to be 1 hour, 0 minutes, 1 second. We want it to be 1 frame. If we don't set this, we have to completely redo the whole stupid thing. It's irritating. Okay, now we say import import file. From, we just put it in Guy the Artist, just hanging out here. We got all these random things, but there's our Animation Friday. Import. So we're now bringing in all of this, and depending on whether After Effects is smart or not, I have read that the newest version of After Effects figures this out. We'll see. Because I'm not convinced. The After Effects that I learned on, you had to specifically import a PSD and tell it what to do with the PSD, the new After Effects theoretically knows what to do. So we'll see. It's importing. This could be fun, or this could be, disastrous. Either way, it could be entertaining. So how y'all are these days. Oh, here we go. It's asking a question. That's why it's stuck. So this is what it usually asked before. It says import the kind of thing, composition. So it's got footage and retain layer sizes and things like that. So it matches the Photoshop appearance if you do editable layer styles. If you merge it, it's just going to be one mess. So we want that. And I believe that I want to import it as footage. No, because it's going to merge it into composition. So there we go. Okay, so if you were to just put this guy on here, right, it'd just be a mess because that's everything. That's the whole 9 yards. That's the whole shebang. So I'm not going to do that, right? We don't want to do that. Instead, we've got all the layers here, right? So we'll just take you to you, and we'll put you into the composition, and it'll line you all up. Oh, we need a background. Otherwise, we're going to be having a field day with this one. So let's put a background in so you can see it. But it's on top. Oh, nice. There we go. Okay. Now, it's very straightforward. Everything is set to 1 frame, except that it's not. It's set to 1/30th of a frame. That's irritating. Oh well. So we just move them out like this. A little bit time consuming on this one, I apologize. But it's not going to be that hard. And you'll notice, where's ball one? Yeah. As we move these out across the way out here, computers are computers. I swear to God, this stuff is like, it makes it easier.
Would you like to chat with your Alexa, please?
No, I don't need your help, Alexa. It's all good. Thanks. Alexa's helping. She thinks she's cool. So, we are almost at the point where we're at the squish. Right? We only have 24 frames of animation here. And then we'll take this guy and make sure that he goes all the way out. Right? Now we have an animation. Poof. I didn't actually get yellow alert to work. So, composition settings. How long do you think your composition is? I think you think that it's very, very long. Okay, let's try this. You're like, hey, I got a composition that's way long. Let's not do that long. Let's do that. How about that? Now we can go all the way back to here and go work. And now we've got an animation. Right? There you go. Instant animation. Took about 35 minutes. Probably about 30 minutes. Now, because the ball is hand-drawn to begin with, it doesn't actually look that bad. Right? But we could do so much better. Right? This isn't bad at all. Yay, cartoon, we've made animation. Look at us making animation. Are we cool or what? Ah, coffee. Okay, this is nifty, but if we were to go and redraw those individual frames, make it a little bit better, this would look cleaner. Right now, it doesn't look bad. It's certainly not a bad animation, but I'll bet you we could do better. You want to see if we can do better? Let's see if we can do better. Okay. Go back here, and the first thing I want to do is save as Animation Friday 1-A. I know. We'll wait until you see it, though, Fred. Okay. Now we're going to use the onion skin. I'm going to go up here to frame 2, right? And we're just going to redraw that frame manually, right? On the other side of the onion skin, I'm going to add a layer. On this layer, I'm just going to draw the ball in like this. I'm going to use frame 2 as a guide, right? So I'm going to take frame 2 and delete him, and then rename this one frame 2. We're just going to keep moving up the yard here until we've got a full set of these guys. Right? Do dee doo dee doo dee doo. And go frame 4. We're gonna go up already. One of the reasons you do this is that I can add weight to this side of it constantly, so the shadow is always on this side, right? You're like, yeah, why are you doing this? Wait till we get to the squish. It's really not because of this so much as, thanks Photoshop for helping, so much as we're looking for the squish here. Right? There we go. So a lot of the stuff that we often say in animation is stretch and squish, right? So the reality is, if I were to do this the way I want to do this, and I'm going to kind of do this a little, we'd want frames 1 through 5 to stretch a little, right? So I'll go in ahead and I'll do that for you. I'll show you what we're talking about. We go back to frame 1, and we're on this guy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch him a little. That's on the onion skin. Layer check. You're on the wrong layer. Stretch him a little, like this. Right? Now, when you're actually hand animating, you have to stop. You're on the wrong layer. When you're hand animating, this is something that you can actually pull off with the hand animation. Right? So there's layer 2. We'll go up to layer 3, and we'll do the same thing. Since I put these lines here, I can't actually do, here we go, so there's more shape. I can't just rotate this guy because he's got the lines in here, these guides that have told me where he's going to be. Right? So now we talk about stretch and squish, which is all the rage here. I'm going to do this and this. You want to be careful not to have any extraneous weird lines in your drawing, otherwise it'll flicker, and that's not something you want. So I don't want any kind of weird extraneous lines. It'll tell me that it's going to flicker, which is why I'm not doing something like this, right? Get that weight to one side. Okay, then we'll move up to frame 4. And we're going to do the same thing, stretch and squish. I'm not going to do this to all the frames because it's really not really that worth it, but for this, I find this to be very useful. For these guys here, you'll get this feel. He's moving, right? You get a very strong feel. And I know it's getting kind of confusing in here at this section because I didn't actually onion skin all of it. Probably we would have done, if this had been actual animation, the noise you would have just heard would have been followed by many other screams just like it. So now we're at 4. We've hand drawn 5. So I'm going to check 5 real quick just to make sure that he's a little bit stretched and squished, just a little. That's the onion skin. You have to stop. You're on the wrong layer. Okay. Giving a little bit of stretch, and this will feel like a stretch right here. Okay, doing this, doing this, doing this, and then stretch it. Stretch it. Work it out there. 1 and a 2. Okay. So now we'll clean this fuzzies up because we don't want any fuzzies. If we have fuzzies, they all make for bizarre animation. Our brains are willing to tolerate a certain amount of weird, but there's only so much that we can handle before we're like, hey, you suck at animation. Yeah, it's that thing. Stretch and squish are concepts that were brought to the animation world by Warner Brothers and Disney way back in the 30s. And we still use these techniques today to indicate motion and to tell people what, just tell your audience what we're doing. Now, you could absolutely do this with the transform tools, but it wouldn't give it the authentic feel, right? I mean, that's the same thing I'm talking about here. When we look at our After Effects animation here, this is completely serviceable, right? This is absolutely serviceable as far as an animation goes. In fact, since I hand drew that ball, it actually even has a very authentic animation feel. But like I said, I'm going to show you some of the things that will make this look better and act better by introducing hand-drawn. And there's a reason why I'm still a proponent of hand-drawn art. I'm going to do redo 6 here. No, yeah, we're on the right. And I am. I'm very much a proponent of hand-drawn art. You know, I can make this a whole lot easier for myself if I just turned off all the other frames for right now until I'm done up here. Right? I'm a big proponent of doing this way. Just copied it. I'm a big proponent of screwing it all up. What do you think, guys? Artifacts are only really introduced when we have too low of a resolution. I certainly could easily do this and not have a problem. It's going to get messy up here at the apex of this. Right? We're going to be way up here at the top. It's going to get kind of messy, but that's okay. Woo! Too much. That's way too much. There we go. And all I'm really doing here is redrawing this. So with a ball, also I should quantify this. With a ball, this isn't actually going to be as dramatic as it does when you're dealing with human faces. It'll be dramatic. Uh-oh. Stay on your line, guy. Stay on your line. There we go. It'll be dramatic, but it won't be as dramatic, right? So, and really, we are doing this manually, and even with us doing this manually, it's not taking as much time, right? I mean, it is taking time, certainly. But it's not taking a lot of time, right? So here we go. We're now at the apex of this, so I'll move the onion skin. I really wish it wouldn't double click. That's really irritating. We're at 10 frames, and I'm actually going to have to pull some of these other guys out because I can't see them anymore. I can't see very well in here. So here we go. We're at the top. And I'm noticing a distortion on that ball here. Like, now that I've rotated it, I can see that there is a side that's not very pleasant. Right? And we'll give him a little bit of a squish up at the top. Because he's in free fall, right? Whee! I'm in free fall. So, we'll delete 10 and make you 10. Animation is all about repetition, not something I'm terribly good at. And that's all right. I'll have to remove frame 10 so I can see what's going on. But at this point in time, you really can see that distortion in the ball, right? So you start seeing, at this point in time, though, I'm seeing that we're going to have to do the same thing we went the other direction here. So we're going to, he's in free fall. Yay, I'm in free fall. Right? Here he is in free fall. And this becomes frame 11. And then we'll move this to frame 12. Right? And he's still in free fall, but he's starting his downward spiral. Or his downfall. His downfall. This poor bull. We spend a lot of time talking about the ball and what's his motivation? What's his motivation, Ball? What's your motivation? Right? And you got him going down like this. And he's still rotating. But we get to actually work really tightly with what's going on. Right? It's not only, I absolutely agree. Tanya's saying that everybody wants to be the key, but nobody wants to be a tweener, which is the middle guys, the guys who put in the in-between frames. But those tweeners are critical to the animation. We had 3 keys in this. and you can see that I'm starting to actually maneuver the animation quite a bit in the tween. So we're going to head up to 13 here on frame 13 and go like this. And you're right, the tweeners are totally where it's at on this animation. Now we're starting a fall. Okay, so we're starting to fall back down. So I'm going to start elongating again in the way of travel. Right? Give him the weight on one side. And by this point, I have sort of a rhythm going, right? I actually am pretty good here. I know what we're dealing with. And we'll move up to 14 on this one. And at this point in time, I'm feeling a little bit more, high 14. I'm feeling like we're doing good here. So up on this layer, we're actually going to start bending again in the way of travel. Now, it's going to gain some speed as it heads down. So let's, not there, here. Right, so now he's starting to gain speed. Oh, where are you going? Where did that come from? And we're going to put a shadow in on that side. Right? This is like super drama. Can I screw it up? Probably. Odds are extremely good that I will mess this up. Right? Moving up the line to 15. At this point in time, I think we're past this apex, so I might leave 14 on just to give me a little bit more of what's going on here. Right? So I'm going to be on 15. Here we go. We're going to go really into the line of travel here. All right. Heading into that line of travel. There we go. And we really want to start to exaggerate this stretch as we start heading into this outside edge. 15. Now we're going to move to 16. Now we're going to select onion skin. No, you peeper. Now it's getting a little confusing, so I am going to remove 14 still. And then we're going to be doing number 16. 16 is very much in this line of travel. Give him some real stretch here. Because he's starting to fall, right? So this is starting to really happen here on this. And like this and then like that, right? Woo, doggy, I think I gave him way too much shadow over here. Just feeling it. Not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. If I really wanted to, I'd go up and clean up the top side of these guys a little bit more so that there's more of a highlight, right? So then we will go, dang it, we'll remove 16 from the fight. Really? Thank you for, this is lag. This is what's happening. I'm overloading my poor computer. And so it's registering a single click as a double click. because it's taking, like there, it's taking this and seeing it as a click and hold. Okay, I'm gonna get on to 17. We're a long ways down on 17, aren't we? Woo! Look at that. All right. So we're now here on 17, and we're going to really stretch you. Right? Really stretch you a lot. Here. There we go. I'm exaggerating a little bit because it will make this funnier. Right? I mean, let's be realistic here. That's what we're after, is funny. And then we'll look at 18. And 18 is also very stretched. Very stretched. There we go. Like this. I have to make my face long like this so that I can feel the ball. I'm feeling the ball. This is me feeling the ball. Okay. Moving right along here. What's motivation? And then 18. We're going to move up to 19 and we're going to select it because it's like it's lagging. That's what it's doing. We're going to have the same problem down here now. We're going to have a whole bunch of animation all at this one spot. So I'm going to start turning off layers at some point here. So let's go ahead and turn off 18 because the ground, it hasn't hit the ground yet. So 19 is still going to be very long, just like 18 was. So I want to make sure I know what that looks like, right? So we're out here, very long. There we go. Now we've got this going for it like this. This is, I don't know, is this like interesting for people? Because I'm like, feel like animation's like the least interesting thing on the planet. Oh well. Okay. Animation fascinates the hell out of me, but I can't see how other people find it fascinating. So I apologize if you guys are bored out of your gourd. Moving up here to 20. 20 is where, like I said, we're hitting the ground here. Okay, so rather than do what this guy did on 20, see how this is just a ball hitting the ground? I'm going to continue going like this. And as if it was, if you were to do the entire thing like this, as it's still like an oval, right? Let's get rid of that. I don't think you're doing a good job. You suck at animating yet again. But this time, I'm going to squish it up right here. It's hitting the ground, right? But it's starting to kind of deform and flex as it hits the ground, right? It's going to start moving out like this. You're not going to register this as normal people. You're not going to see this, right? But we're going to deform and flex it as it hits the ground. So now it's hitting the ground. Yeah, it's called onion skinning, where they're flipping back and forth and they put one. It's actually a technique that I love. I actually have animation paper over here because someday I am so doing more animation by hand. There's something very satisfying about this. It's extremely satisfying to do it this way. It takes forever. I agree. Actually going to also put a line here to indicate look, we're deforming, right? So this guy's going to deform out like that way too, right? So there we go. We'll do this. We'll come in here and we'll go around. So we're starting the squish, right? This is frame 20. And we'll go work, 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 right? And when we originally drew this and imported it in, it took 30 minutes. I would say that probably 10 of it was fidgeting with After Effects, right? So, it took some time, and I get that. But I think, actually, if you look at this, though, this way, now I'm going to leave 20, I'm going to leave 21, I'm going to leave 20 in here, and we're going to look at 21. So, bringing in 21, we're down to here. We're just going to do this, right? Like that, right? Squish. And he is seriously squishing at this point in time. A lot of pressure on the ball going down, and a lot of pressure in the way that this ball is taking it. It's taking it right there. It's going right in, and it's going to squish out the sides. Squish. Squish. Right? It came in here, and we took all this, and we're going to squish. It's so much fun. This is so satisfying. People are like, you're a disturbed child. You're a disturbed child. I am a disturbed child. I'm a disturbed child who's an animator. Who knew? And we'll do this. And this poor guy is now rumply all around like that. So, squish. We want this to be mushroom shaped. If it's not mushroom shaped, then it's not making the actual squish that we want it to make. It's collapsing under its own weight. So, we'll do that. And go out like that. So now it's a mushroom-shaped thing. Right? It's got eyes and a smile now. Yes, I'm happy. I'm a happy mushroom. Okay, well, that was weird. I approve of you guys all deciding I'm a stranger. Okay. You're like, that happened. Yeah, it did happen. Turn on 21. And now I'm looking at this. So, this guy is going to be somewhere in between there. So, he's all the way out like this. And this guy's really flattened out. At this point in time. Okay, so we've got this going for us. And that's 22. And we are 2 frames from the end, guys. 2 frames from the end. Throw this 22 away. Because we don't need him. Okay. This is where things get really confusing. Now, at this point, the ball is starting to flex back up. And when things flex, they go down and then they come back up like this in like a sine wave, right? So I'm going to do this to kind of bring that back up in a sine wave effect, kind of like that guy right there. A little bit of stressors there. Still stressing. And I feel like this is probably too pointy. So I might regret this being that pointy. So I'm going to depoint it here. Like that. I mean, it's funny to have these points down on the previous ones, but I feel like this is still too pointy. So I'm going to select that layer, apparently, because we're really, really, really crunching this thing. 23. We're on the last frame. And our ball is back to normal. There we go. Right? So now we will turn on all the frames. And we'll move the onion skin down. Right? And yeah, it's hard to see. I get that. And now looking at this, one of the things I'll see is this guy. He doesn't look like he's right between these guys. So I'll make an adjustment on him there, and that'll help that a little bit. But you can see when we get the egg shape that doesn't go over as well. So 24, save, right? We'll go back into here. We'll say composition, new composition, right? Same thing as before. This one's comp 2. And instead of 1209, let's figure this out, right? Let's do this. We want it to be 01. Base 24. There. Now we only have 1 second. Right? That makes it a lot easier. Move the start frame back. And this guy we will import a file. We'll do the same thing, but this time we will take, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Wait, did I hit the wrong import? Import. Well, there's just one file, right? We did this before. Why are you not showing me? What's your story? I saved it in Guy the Artist, right? We uploaded it. Oh, there we go. It's got a preview. That's why. Hey, look, we're previewing. How nice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just everything we did before, the same as before. Except this time we're not going to be here, we're going to be here. All right. Shift, select, we'll do the same thing. Bring them all in on frame 4. Brilliant. Thanks for being helpful. Thank you for being so helpful. There you go. Now, move you to frame 2. Oh, God. I really need to, they need to know that you're 24 frames. I guess nobody really does 24 frames. Okay. Work. Come on. Do it and you're cool. Do it and you're cool. Oh, God. There. Nope. Duplicate. Gotcha. Don't do that. Same thing as before when you're not fighting with After Effects. You just place these all in place. Out here, don't fight with After Effects live on camera. That sucks and makes people cry, like me. Place all of these guys out like this. Do-de-do-de-do-de-do. Ho-de-do-de-do-de-do. Hodor, Hodor, Hodor. Place these like this, all the way out, and done. Now we need one more thing. We need that background. All right, otherwise you can't see anything. And the background needs to live all the way down on the bottom. Otherwise, it'll be on top of everything. We won't be able to see anything. And then we hit go. Now, is this functionally better than the other one? Probably. Well, flipbooks are pretty much the same critter. You just can't export a flipbook to an AVI. You'd still have to scan each individual frame in and do that. I mean, that's sort of a thing. But there you go. And that took 45 minutes. So about twice as long to hand animate the ball. But it does look more like it's moving than the previous one. And here, let's look at them back to back, right? Because we actually still have the other composition in here. You can see that though this one, I wonder if I can play them side by side. I wonder if After Effects would let me do that. No. Not allowed. Denied. I'm going to put composition 2 on like the right here. Nope. Nope. All I did was just get rid of the preview frame. That didn't help me any. Okay. Well. Hope nobody wants to see this anymore, because I think I've just completely borked the state, the workspace state. There we go. I borked the workspace state doing that. So I think the best I can do is hit play. And play. Now, like I said, two things are going for us. One, this isn't a person turning their head or flipping hair or something that you would see in a normal animation. This is a ball. This is a ball going fwing, 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 and that's it. Animation takes a long time. There's a reason why Studio Ghibli spent, what was it? They spent 1.5 years on 4 seconds of animation. And it's because this takes some time. It takes effort. It takes a whole lot of effort. And there are people like me who are very interested in this. It's what we do. So, there you go. So that's the difference between this guy and this guy. In a ball is probably not that much. I mean, you can hear it. The ball just kind of curves around like this and then goes squish, right? On this one, the ball is hand drawn. It stretches, comes over the arc like this, and stretches as it goes down to go squish. So there's that. I mean, that's a thing. So that's animation basic. Basic. So that's our basic animation right there. Here, let me play this while we're doing this. There are a couple of things that I would, looking at this, there needs to be, if I were to critique my own animation, first of all, first animation I've done in like 5 years. So not doing bad for someone who hasn't actually done animation or even cracked open After Effects in half a decade. Things I would notice doing this animation, just looking at it, I'd put more stretch on either side so that it looks like it stretches out farther. And this squish is not squishing the ball as much as it's squishing the impact point. So either that ball is like a water balloon, but even a water balloon doesn't deflect that much. So I'd probably correct my squish a little bit on the other side. Might even try the water effect where it crushes down like this, then goes boing, and then springs back up like that. Just doing that might help. So that's the fault of the animation, and the animator. That's the fault of the animator and not the animation. So we could talk a little bit more about full-fledged animations that are not, in fact, a ball, and that becomes a little bit more difficult. So if we were to, say, talk about Bugs Bunny or reaching forward or something like that, you'd have this key and then this key, and you'd have to tween all in between that and figure out what's moving in that sense. So this key and this key would be a different thing. So we could do that, but that would take some time. So if you thought this took some time, wait until you actually have a real character, like a walk cycle or something easy that would normally be very simple is markedly more complex once you put it into animation. So the other thing and the other reason why you hand animate as opposed to using what we were doing in the first one where we just ran the ball is things like at an angle. I can't move things like this easily. As you can see, my hand is smaller, it takes up less of the screen here than it does here. At this point in time, closer to it, my hand pretty much takes up the entire screen. So if I'm animating this hand, it's going to deflect in size, Well, I'm not going to play a YouTube video here. I mean, I'll play it after the show's over, but me sitting here going is not exciting. So, I have no idea what you're researching. I'm certainly. Oh, are you? I don't know. I don't know what you're researching. So, so when you do like walk cycles, you can do a walk cycle from the side by moving the legs forward and back, but you can't do a walk cycle like this without hand animating it. And that's desperately the difference between things like Ghibli movies and Scooby-Doo. In Scooby-Doo, oh, there you go. We could deform a baseball or a baseball. Could be a basketball. Basketballs with a little less air in them might be very entertaining when they hit the ground. They might actually, a little bit less air in them. They might be fun. But the difference between like Scooby-Doo animation where they're just doing this, and Ghibli, where the person walks around counters and goes around things and comes up to the camera and then turns around and goes back and then picks up something and then walks over here. All of that has to be hand animated. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no way around it. When I'm throwing a ball just up and down like this, that's easy. That's an easy one. It's like it's buzzing. Must not be connected. When I do that, though, I mean, that's easy. That's just an easy one, too. Then it just goes up and goes down. If I were to add complication to this, I'd throw it like this. Bork. Right? Throwing it at the camera. Whee! Bork. And it lands here. Well, it's going to be a markedly different size when it's here than when it lands here. Right? So. And that's the other part of this. Easy to do it this way. Harder to do it when you start doing it that way. So let's take a look at that, right? So we've got our arc here. We'll talk about this one in a different way. Let's do that one. So we'll get rid of the... We'll put all of these guys, because I don't actually... Well, I'm going ahead and just save this as 3. Or B. Yeah, B. B. Okay. Now let's get serious. Let's get serious. Okay? Let's seriously animate now. All right? Let's take our ball, which we were throwing, and we'll start here, and we will throw it up into the air, and it will land right here in front of us, like that. Okay? This is the battle plan. All right, we throw, slow down, speed up, and now we've got to change the size, right? Because now it's got to become more like this arc has to be to here, and this arc has to be to here. So now we look at the size of this ball. Right? And we'll add some complication to it. So here's this. Wow, look how big this thing's getting. Sort of thing. Heading right for you. Right here. Right? And let's say we're going to have it be a speedball. Okay, so this is seriously deforming right here. Like that. So here's my rough design for this here. Okay, this is my rough. And I actually can move it down. I actually apparently cannot move it down. There we go. Now, if I were to add dynamics to this, and if we really wanted to make this look cool, we could add a baseball player over here, right? Now I'm just asking for trouble, right? He's going to keep his spine straight through all of this throw, but his shoulders are going to pivot this way and this way. So you're going to start here and end up here with his start like this. He's letting go of the baseball right here. Now we've added an entirely different... The game is different now. The game is afoot. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're almost at half frames here. We'll only do 15 frames because really I don't want to mess with this that much. We only have about 30 minutes left, right? So he's a lefty. So here is the middle frame for his shoulders. Right? He's not moving as much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go 2 steps in between each one of these. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. There we go. Tick, 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 tick. Right? So now this becomes more complicated. Frame 1 now needs to live with this guy doing this. Right? That's frame 1. Okay. I don't want to spend much time on this because we don't have time to spare. So this is frame 2. Right? We've done that frame. So we're going to go out here. This is him throwing the ball, but he's still connected to it, but only sort of. Right? He's throwing it. We know that his shoulder is now at the second tick, right here. And give his baseball cap a slight twist too, because that seems like a thing, right? He's starting to throw it. He's already put the propulsion behind it, so all of the movement in the body goes across like that. And then we'll add a frame, move the onion skin up. This is frame 3. Ball is here. He's let it go. His arm is at full extension. We're at this tick for his shoulder, this, and this. He's turning his head just a little more. Right? I'll make sure his hand still looks like these hands here. And then we'll move the onion skin up one more. I think a lot of people have given up on me. I know, this is boring. It would have been fun to play with Character Animator if I'd figured out how to do it. So we're here. We're only keeping this frame here. And 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So his hand's going to be down here. And we're 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're actually at almost the middle tick right here. There we go. I'll try to be quickly about this. 05 is the next frame. I'm not sharing. I should share my screen. You're just watching the back of my hand. How is this exciting? How is this even remotely interesting? There we go. You guys are all asleep. Anyway, I put you all to sleep. Look at me put you to sleep. Here's frame 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're out here, right? Now his hand is going to be right here. We move up to here. We're pivoting his. There you go. Give him his baseball cap. Move up to 6. I'm sitting there going, this is fascinating to me. It's like everybody else. Like, no, not really. 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? We'll move, everybody down. So we're pivoting across to right here. Right? Move the onion skin up. Now, I probably would check my animation a lot better if I was in a hurry. I'm kind of in a hurry. Right? So we're on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll move like this. There we go. I've just given up on his. Well, being compared to Bob Ross is probably not a bad thing. So I've said that before. So if, and I love watching Bob Ross. I love watching Bob Ross. He's cool. So we move up to frame 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's you. All right, we'll put this here. All right, move the onion skin up, and then go for 09. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's you. And I'm going to give it a lot of deflection because this ball is moving fast. Good anime trick for this. Right through here. And then we'll add layer 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's you. Yorp. I can't see. There we go. Right, go to frame 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Way up here. There we go. Much more like this. Now, you probably would have an extension to this and not, in fact, do the arm like this. It's going to look funny. It's not going to look like the animation that we'd want it to make. That's because I'm not doing like it with a tweener and all of the other things that I'd normally do. 12. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is right here. It's coming right for us. Right? Oh gosh, turn off all these frames in between, otherwise I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, Bob Ross is wonderful. I love Bob Ross. Actually, remember, you never want to have any extraneous lines. Your animation starts to look funny if you do. Okay, move the onion skin up. And that one to 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right, our little baseball player over here has been kind of kicking this around here. Finally, his hand's starting to get off screen. All right, so we got 13 frames, 2 more. And they're not on my guide, right? 14. So we can make the same assumption. This guy is going to be right here. All right. And we'll just continue on with this guy. His rotation. Like that. Animation's just not as glamorous as people think it is. And our last one, 15. At 15 frames, you can perceive an animation has occurred, and you can perceive movement. So, that's not the area we want. So, though this isn't going to be ideal, it'll work, right? So, here we go. Save. All the frames are in. I'll move the onion skin off of the rack over here. Put all these guys in. Make sure everybody's on. Always do that, because if you don't really need that layer, though. Because we just made this. This is a quick and dirty animation, right? Go over into After Effects, Composition, New Composition, and this guy we're going to set for 15 frames a second. And then we're going to say Composition Settings. Rather, it's the Preferences, Import panel. And this one we're going to say is 2. right? Because this is actually going to be useful because it's going to import every frame or every still as two frames for a 30-second frame. Hopefully. Anyway. I hope that that's what will happen. One can always say, who knows, right? Let's see what happens here. All the frames going to get imported. Right here. There you go. And then we need the background. Doo-dee-doo. There's our animation. Let's take a look at it now. Huh? We'll line it up. I think the new After Effects does actually have a function that allows us to import these straight in. I just haven't figured it out. Let's take a look. Somebody's missing a hat somewhere along the line. But there we go. I would use this as an animatic if I ever needed to on I like this animation. This animation's fun. This one shows my I haven't done animation in 5 years thing. His arm's like it's a lot of bing bang bang bang. So there you go. That's it. This would be an acceptable animatic, but that would be about it. Animatic being something that holds the space so that people get a rough idea, like a sketch of an animation, right? It's not the full animation. We're just not sure, right? So, a couple of things I'm noticing when I put this animation together. One of them is we have missing body. I could see that when I did this. We've got a missing body there, right? And there. So I don't know where the body went on those two frames, but I could see that two of the frames are missing a body, which is funny. I find that particularly humorous. Bork, bork. I also noticed that his arm disappears pretty much right there. They're at the same place, the missing body. There you go. But that's animation right there. Very, very simple animation. Right? I mean, it's like funny how they blink, 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 blink. Yeah, we got missing animation. Okay, so Monday or next Friday will be Animation Friday, but we'll deal with Character Animator instead of this. I've never used Adobe Animate CC because this is easier for me to use, but it's kind of like, well, it might be easier, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's better. Right? Well, let's go ahead and close you down. I'm not 100% sure whether Character Animator will even load. I think character animator is mad because I've got too many things going. Okay, we've done some interesting animations here. There we go. Now character animator is loading. I don't think there's any reason to save these. We can rebuild them very quick. Right? So, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do this. And let's just take a look over here. Take a look at Character Animator once it's done loading. Hi, how are you all? Now we're waiting for Character Animator to load. Well, that's good. It's actually, that's interesting. So let's see if anything actually shows up. No. Call this that. And we'll load Character Animator. Here we go. Character Animator. So here's the thing about Character Animator. New scene. New scene. Cool. Scene. Dang. You want to just figure out how to do this with me? Let's figure out how to do this together, huh? All right. Watch. Yes, animatics are definitely awesome. There's nothing wrong with animatics at all. So looking here, let's go for maybe open a puppet. I don't know. Import? No. There's like so new empty puppet? I don't want an empty puppet. What if I want a normal puppet? What if I want to import an old puppet? What is your problem, people? This is why we do these things in no, it's not the instant. It's not recent projects. It's seems like there was something where it did a thing where it let me load a puppet from somewhere else, and I've never managed to be able to puppet. Okay, we found this. Well, that's wonderful. So this is the new thing I really want to play with. Camera and microphone. Dot, 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 dot. Okay, you can hear me. Good. That works. Yep. So we're going to no, it doesn't help me any. It's just going to stick me on the desktop. I had a puppet. I just don't know where the puppet went. It's like, anybody know how to work this program? I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. This is why I didn't want to do this, though, online. But I figured we'd get started and we'd take a look at it, see if I couldn't get a puppet in. Start. Here we go. Let's use some of these guys. All right. We'll use Chloe. No, I don't need Chloe in Photoshop. I'm fine, thanks. Does Chloe actually understand? Oh, there we go. This is the fun part. Hi, I'm Chloe. That's what I was hoping for. With this is the best part about this whole thing, is like totally can do weird things in here. Okay, let's do some stuff here. If we were to can't zoom in. Keyboard input. We don't need the camera output, though. It's not going to see my face anyway. So we want keyboard input. Arrow keys. Okay. There we go. Now we do this. Hi, I'm going to be very confused. There we go. This is really, really cool. So the funny part about this is when people are like, why don't you like South Park? I'm like, because I think I could do South Park live. Really, if you look at this character who's talking right now, it's almost figuring out how to do this live. Now, I don't want to actually build all of these characters literally, but it does seem like a thing that would be easy to do, like the live thing. I'm going to actually look to see if there's a blink. Eyes blink together. I want keyboard on this. But where's the command? If it's not that, So these are all controls for okay, we don't need to change that. Okay, camera input, camera strength. We don't need any of these things to tell me these things. It'll understand what's going on. I guess if I take the camera input and turn the camera on to read, then in theory, my eyes should be blinking. I don't know. What's going on here, Peeper? Peeper. Come on, Peeper. I am more entertained by the fact that this thing's figuring out certain lip sync functions. It's just cracking me up. More importantly, I believe that we could probably easily do the level of animation that Filmation had done for everything here, like He-Man and even the Star Trek animated series. It's fascinating to watch this character talk with my lips moving thingy. It is wild, isn't it? I mean, it's really cool. I need to figure out how to change, like, how does it read? Where does it read? It's not seeing my face, so I don't know how it's understanding that. Oh, select a video device. Apply. Okay. Just look at the screen. And then it didn't. I don't think I can do this while the camera is running, doing other things. However, I totally could change her going into Photoshop. I'm noticing Photoshop's up and it nested it. So Photoshop's running in a nest. It says make any changes you want, then switch back to Character Animator. I could make this not Chloe and make it Guy by, let's see here, let's do that. First of all, let's turn off the microphone here because Chloe keeps talking. So let's do that. Let's do this thing. 5 minutes. Let's see what kind of damage. What damage can we do in 5 minutes, right? That always makes me wonder. What could you possibly do in 5 minutes? What kind of damage could you possibly do in 5 minutes? I noticed that my music stopped a long time ago. There we go. Music. Let's turn on music. Let's go ahead and go in here for the head and just look at the head itself, I guess, is the background. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. Unnamed. Work. Aha! Watch me change this. Come on, people. Just erase that. There we go. Oh, I see the clip. Right? They don't need a clip. It's all right. Hair back. There we go. What kind of trouble could you possibly cause? Hold my beer. Okay, and is the nose all by itself? Is that the story? No, it's all fine here. So is this it? That's just the nose. Where is the face? Those were all phenomes. Face. All right. Do. Man, I kind of look like Manchu, some kind of bizarre. Aw. All right. Fast work. Save. Back to character animator. Ha! Check me. Now I look like me. That's funny. Hi, welcome to my show. I'm weirdly animated now. And my nose is crooked. And I don't know what to do about my nose being crooked, but I'm going to have to figure that out. This is awesome, actually. This didn't take much time at all to make this me. I think I'd wear a blue shirt. I'm just saying. But I get the character animator is, purple and stuff. So, can I make this full screen? How do I make this full screen? Does it do pop out? Doesn't do pop out. Whoa. Hi. Okay. Okie dokie. Can't move it. That's kind of interesting. Stream live. No devices connected. That would be wild. Hey, there we go. Now I can be white. I like it white. That's cool. Fit the screen. There we go. Okay. Well, guys, feeling like that's a good show for right now. I'll end on this, which is me being, here and weirdly animated. So I hope to see you all next week. Have a great weekend. And this is Animation Friday. So there you go. Have a good weekend, and I will see you later. Goodbye.